Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Just before we get started with this, I do want to let you know the Grove Collective has started their March to Victory campaign. It's a bracket-style tournament pitting regions of the countries against each other to see who can donate the most money for Ole Miss's NIL collective. So you can check that out at thegrovecollective.com/march to victory. Again, that's thegrovecollective.com/march to victory. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss, and I am joined by Cara, Hottie Toddy Stroh. She is back after some time off. How you doing, Cara?
Hey, Stephen, glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
My university traditions, like, have to have it every Friday.
Okay. You need to show people the front of the hat. There you go, so they can see what's going on. Yeah. So, I was just talking about the new campaign that the Grove Collective started, to where they're doing a bracket-style tournament, to where Florida's going against Georgia and North Mississippi's going against Central Mississippi, and North Texas and South Texas are competing. It's a bracket-style thing to raise money for the Grove Collective, and specifically 2025 and beyond. I think this is a really interesting way galvanize the fan base in a way that's taking advantage of March Madness.
For which one? I'm sorry.
For March Madness, with that going on, brackets are all going to be the rage.
Yeah, I'm excited for both. Really for the women's mainly. Very excited there.
So let's talk about the 2024 season. You got Ole Miss coming in. This is the most anticipated football season that Ole Miss has had probably, in my lifetime, and I've been around a minute. And, Walter Nolan, a lot of great transfers have come in. All of the hype is going to be on Ole Miss to have a major impact in the college football playoff and potentially beyond. How excited are you going into this season?
Oh, for football, I'm so excited. The hiring, there's just more and more coming out that makes me more excited. There's nothing that they've yet to come out with that hasn't made me feel any less. I'm just super excited.
Well, when you have Zach Garnett coming in as a volunteer assistant and an analyst, which, by the way, that lit up Egg Bowl Twitter at least for a 24-hour period.
Oh, yeah, they were insane. They were all kinds of thinking we lost this one, but my thought was, hey, you're paying our analysts, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, and it's a situation to where they're excited because they hired an Ole Miss offensive coordinator who is essentially like a great value Lane Kiffin. And we hired their former head coach as an analyst, and I was like, hey, there's levels to this. We're not the same.
Right, exactly. This coaching staff and everything is just phenomenal. Even Josh Pate was talking about how great this coaching staff is. It's top tier. It puts us on another level. So,
yeah, and I think he said we were a tier 1 SEC coaching staff. Yes. But if you look at the defensive staff that has been hired, the reason he says that, B. Brown in the secondary. I remember a game back in 2004 against the Tennessee Volunteers where he actually had a house call, picked one off, and took it back to the house. He was a defensive coordinator at Louisville. He was a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. He's come to Ole Miss to be a co-defensive coordinator and cornerbacks coach. That's going to get with Pete Golding. You have Randall Joyner, who is doing a phenomenal job. The coaching hires on the defensive side of the ball, that's particularly impressive.
Yes. Oh, the defensive side of the ball is growing so much, especially even just in player-wise, who we've brought in. There's just so much excitement there. I'm really, that's my thing on spring I really want to see.
Yeah, it should be real nice. And I've heard some rumors out there about the spring game format. Some people have called for a Grove Bowl games type thing instead of the spring game. And I don't know how I feel about that. I want to see actual football being played, even if it is simple football, even if it's a situation like last year's spring game. I think that would be preferable to whatever they're doing in the NFL these days.
Absolutely. You're talking about playing different spring games against others, or?
Oh, I'm talking about spring games. The red-blue game, I'm more than happy to continue doing that as opposed to playing flag football and tug of war.
Oh, true. Exactly. I definitely like Alec. I did like what was brought up a couple years ago is like playing almost like preseason games, but versus like the difference was I think Hugh Freeze actually was the one that brought that up.
Yeah, an FCS game to where if Ole Miss was playing like UT Martin or Valley or Alcorn or Jackson State, one of those schools would play in the spring game, I think that would do pretty well and it would accomplish a lot of the same thing. And you can avoid scheduling those FCS games in the season, which nobody wants to see.
Right. And I think they would actually be well attended.
Yeah, I can't imagine like Ole Miss has Alcorn on the schedule, I think, in like 2028 or 2029. I think every Alcorn State fan will come up to that football game.
Yeah, I think that would be a great experience. I think why not like get some money in there, like, bring to the stadium. Like, even if you put it with like a concert or something like that we've done before, that would be a great like opportunity.
Changing the subject a little bit, and we're recording this just so everybody knows on Friday afternoon. So the Lady Rebels have not played against the Florida Gators at this point. This is a situation we thought Vanderbilt was going to beat Florida. That Vanderbilt was the team that was kind of projected to face Coach Yo and the Lady Rebs. It was the Florida Gators. What do you think about this SEC tournament, the setup of it for Coach Yo, for the Lady Rebels? What do they have? I don't know. What are they building to?
So I think like just in sense of like tonight and looking at it, I have two trains of thoughts here. My first one is like we're really set up for greatness. I mean, look at how we finished the season: 6-game winning streak, 100-game wins for Coach Yo. Maddie Scott announcing she's coming back. Like there's so much excitement that's happening right now for the Lady Rebs. So they really have like a lot of momentum going into this. We're going like we have the tournament to look forward to. Like, I mean, I really think they say it right when we really have all the momentum to take it all. I do think though we can't look past Florida. Florida is kind of gaining ground. Florida had some great games during the season. They step up for kind of bigger games. They lost to, I think it was Auburn by 3 at home. They lost to Alabama on the road by 3. This team can really surprise you if you allow them. So I think really leaning on some of those leaders like Maddie Scott and Markeisha Davis is going to be important and key. Obviously, in any case, offensive rebounds, like keeping those down and building there is going to be really crucial tonight. So, but I think we really have all the opportunity and momentum really in the world right now.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. And moving to the NCAA tournament, it looks like Ole Miss is kind of on that 8 to 9 round. And the interesting thing about that is Ole Miss isn't going to get matched up with South Carolina in the NCAA tournament to where that second round game is going to happen. They're not going to get matched up with LSU. So you're looking at either like UConn or Caitlin Clark as a potential second round opponent for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, there's some scary ones out there for us, but I think we can rise up to those bigger games. We got to fix a few things, especially in that rebound category and also in like penalties. But I think if we clean that up, like, and we can keep Caitlin Clark at bay, like at least a little bit in that kind of situation, or with UConn, I think I mean, look at us last year with Stanford. No one thought we were going to win that game. So I think we really can step up and win those big games.
Changing the subject to baseball, what do you think of the baseball team this far?
I think the baseball team needed some time to kind of grow. I was a little with everyone else on the apprehensive side of this season, but I really think they're starting to get in their own and kind of get as they work as a team, and they're starting to hit that streak of doing pretty well. I think pitching, you need some figuring out just a little bit there, but I think the baseball team's really starting to get to where we've wanted to see them a little bit, and they're gaining that momentum.
Yeah, the one problem with the baseball team that I see right now is the fact there's not really a number one pitcher. You have a whole bunch of guys that are pretty good. You don't have that guy, that Doug Nikhazy type pitcher that Ole Miss has kind of been known for, and they're going to have to search for that guy. The last time that happened, just so everybody knows, was the year that Ole Miss won the national title. They didn't find that guy until the end of the season. So we'll see exactly how that goes as well. Now, down here, I saw the Houston Astros play the Detroit Tigers early in spring. Got to see Gray Kessinger make potentially the play of the day out in the field. So how do you feel about your Astros?
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm always excited about Astros baseball. I'm ready for it to get back. I hope Gray has more of a kind of involvement this year than, Would love to see him more. I think he did really great. Obviously, I'm always excited for Jordan. That's my guy in Bregman. So, I think we have a few things that we have to fix from last year. Obviously, like if we could win some home games, that'd be great. But, as always, I'm always excited for Astros baseball.
Yeah, it should be a whole lot of fun. And thanks everybody for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Cara, Hottie Toddy Strohs back on the show. Thank you so much for stopping by, Cara, and we'll do it again.
Thanks, Steven.
All right.
Hottie Toddy.
Hottie Toddy.